And we start by our youth council. I'm very excited today that finally we come to the point where we have our youth council here. Well, part of it anyways. There are another two high school kids and one from SUNY. And SUNY is, of course, on spring break, so we really are thankful for you being here. And to present them is Marissa Burr. She's a freshman. Lindsay Lotter, who is not here, is a sophomore. Kira Carlson-Healy is a junior. Anna Gallo is a senior. And then Kevin Pecos, Nathaniel Clark, and Alex Zagorski. Okay.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Well, what I want to say is that youth councils are all over the country, really. And the main reason that I thought we should put something like that together is because in our community, we're lucky enough to have enough kids. We have a lot of young people here. We have a high school, we have a university, SUNY, and then we have of course, JCC, and we have the BOSSes. So a lot of learning institutions around here, and of course, the good comes with the bad, a lot of problems as well. These kids live under a lot of pressure. I was reading actually the other day that the average high schooler today has the level of anxiety as a psychiatric patient in the 50s, which is amazingly scary if you think about it.
Terrible.
It's terrible. And also, according to Yale University, about 30% of freshmen in college, they are on antidepressant. Not that we can do something about that, but in this community, at least, we're going to try to reach as many young people as possible. One of the points that I made was that we are lucky enough to have kids from the high school and from SUNY, but in this community we have kids between the ages of 16, 18, and 24 that really are not in college. They are working or they're looking for a job, and I want to be able to reach those kids as well and let them know that they're part of this community and actually very valuable to us. So Roger is one here who is trying to reach these kids. And so we're starting. For starters, they are helping me in putting together the Drug Awareness Week, which is going to be sometime in April. And what can I say? They're working more than I ever thought possible. They're working very well together, and I appreciate everything they do. Now, Trustee Christina told me before that she has many great ideas.
Yeah, my students did the NICOM had the If I Were Mayor essay contest for 8th graders across the state, and so my students, I had them participate, and I forwarded all their essays to Albany, so maybe we'll have a winner. That would be so exciting. So I made a list, and I'm tallying up all of the ideas that they had that I thought are in some way, shape, or form feasible to do. So I'm going to type up, when I'm all done reading all the essays, I will type up a finalized list, and I will forward it to the Youth Council, and maybe you guys could go through it, look at it, add some suggestions, and maybe pick 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, and see if we can maybe try to implement them in some way, shape, or form. Because they have their ideas are phenomenal, really, really, really good stuff. So I'm thrilled and excited that this is happening. Awesome.
Yeah, it's and every time I go to school, I'm very impressed with their questions, their ideas. I ask them, what can I do for you? Can we do for them? They always tell me, give us something to do after school. So that's one of the things that we keep in mind, to maybe keep some of these kids out of trouble. It's an investment to the future of this community, and I value every one of you and every one of all of the young people here. So Nate is the chairperson for, this year. We already had the election. He's working very hard to through everything. And then can you tell the rest of the dignitaries? Say.
So we have Anna, she's the secretary, Kevin is our public meeting representative, and Marissa is one of our council members. Alex, the treasurer, is not here currently. Kira is the vice chairperson, and she's also not here. And Lindsay is another council person who couldn't attend tonight's meeting, but that's everyone's position. Would you let me go any more on that?
And from now on, Roger, Kevin is going to come, not Roger, that's another Pecos. Kevin is going to come to one of our meetings, one a month of our meetings, so he can keep up with us and can bring ideas to us from the young people. So,
Thank you for volunteering your time and willingness to do this. It's great. Appreciate it.
And I think it'll be inspiring to other young people to work with the community into the future too. I really appreciate you taking this opportunity yourselves. Thank you.
Good job, guys, for stepping up.
Great. Okay. Moving on. We have the training request of Alex Corgan, a firefighter, and he wants to go.
This is
Monte
to
Falls.
be the municipal training officer at our facility at Fire Hall.
Oh,
So
okay.
You know, you're required to have one. Since Randy left, we don't have one, so he stepped up to the plate. This is his second of 2 training sessions.
Great.
He'll be certified to do that. That's good.
Okay, very good. And
And it-
then,
$200.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I see.
for the registration fee, he's gonna take our vehicle, so.
yeah, it's great. And then we have promotion of DPW.
No, that got
That's not-
scratched.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
because
you
we-
extracted?
Yeah, because we have to post it. So we had to scratch it.
Okay.
It's,
And
it got
then-
posted today, so you have to post it for 5 days, so by the end of the week, our next meeting, we'll have the name.
Okay.
Be able to do that.
So, and then we need an RFP, we just found out, for the grant administration. We're going to pass this resolution tonight, so tomorrow you can post it.
Mhm.
It's
And
for the,
for the grant administrator, we need an administrator for the grant.
right.
But we thought we can just ask for prices, but we really have to put an RFP out
Okay.
there. So we're doing that.
Yeah, has to be formal.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, the amount for the grant administrator is already in the grant. So
I'm sorry, what was that?
the amount to pay for the administration is
Is
already
included in the grant?
in the grant, yes. And then we have the approval of NASBOM proposal.
Yeah,
for the park
that's
hall.
another one I'm gonna have to table. It doesn't
It's not
include,
here.
and I apologize for that, but it doesn't include the scope of what I had asked him to do. So, I tried to get a hold of him, Friday and today, wasn't able to get a hold of him, forgot to take it off. So we're gonna have to table that. He's only looking at, in this proposal, he's only looking at the hose tower. I wanted him to look at the roof and also look at the
The other
remainder
side.
of the building.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
you know,
It doesn't make any
so
sense
there's no
not to.
reason for us to pass the, you know, initially he said, well, we're gonna update the
Right.
initial
That's what it
report,
was.
which was for the whole building. And then, yeah, exactly, and I thought it was gonna be the whole building, and then when I read the proposal, I said, he's only doing hose tower, why is he only doing hose towers? So, you know, that's what, so that's why I.
So hopefully by next meeting we
But
got-
yeah, we should have an answer from them by next meeting.
Okay. I want to wait for the call for the special meeting. Maybe Mark is going to come, maybe see if there's a mistake.
Okay,
So
and
let's
this
go
is,
down to new
this one
business.
here is for the, just calling our workshop next week for a special meeting, there's 2 of them.
Oh,
This
okay,
is-
all
this
right.
is the
So
one
this-
for-
oh, budget.
Yes,
Oh,
for the
okay,
budget
okay.
presentation.
Okay.
That's calling, instead of that being just a workshop, that's going to be a special meeting of the board because you're gonna present your budget at that point in time.
But, okay.
Hopefully.
No, I'm gonna present, so for your information, every year we make the budget, the mayor makes the budget and the budget proposal to the Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees ultimately have to pass the budget, and approve it, and that will be the working budget for the next year. Up to we have some deadlines that we have to meet. For example, I have to put my budget forward by the 20th of March. Is that correct? Or the 21st?
By the 21st,
By
you're
the
supposed to give
21st.
it to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the 20th, I'm putting forward my budget, and then from the following week, the Board of Trustees is going to go page by page, item by item, whatever detail they want to do, look into it, and make as many changes or as little changes as they want to, or they feel that they need to do. And at the end of, by the 20th of April,
By the end of April,
yes.
yes.
They have to approve it, so our administrator can actually send it to the state, to Albany.
Yes, there's a lot of reports that need to be filed with the comptroller's office, like constitutional tax limits, the tax cap, which maybe you've all heard of the tax cap in New York State. All of those have to be filed before adoption of your budget, with the comptroller's office.
Okay, and so this is why we call for a special meeting for next week, so I can present my budget to the Board of Trustees.
In the past, we've passed a resolution in anticipation of a possibility of having to go over the tax cap. Is that something we should do this year or not?
We do that this year too.
Well, we could do it,
Other
and
communities do
then,
that,
and
I know
if
that.
you don't do it, you rescind it. I mean,
Right.
that's obviously a local law. We could do that.
I know other communities, and we have done it, and it was only in order to protect yourselves in case you had to, because you can't do it after the fact.
Right.
That's
Um,
correct.
So.
I didn't
We did
know
it
what
last year.
Yeah, I didn't know what the stomach of the board was to raise taxes or not raise taxes.
I'm
so-
not raising taxes.
Right,
If
right.
you
I
want
mean,
to,
I
but
figured
You
that,
have
but,
some
you know,
sort of
sometimes you don't
catastrophic
have a
event that
choice.
happens, you might not
And,
have
you
a
know, it
choice.
would just only come into play if you're exceeding the tax cap. Remember, last year you did not raise taxes, so you got a rollover of those taxes into this year, so you actually have a pretty good ability to raise tax. Not that I'm encouraging the raising of taxes, I'm just saying you have a pretty good cushion because you did not raise taxes last year. So that 1.5% of that rolls over into the following year, so
Tax cap is going to be lower, correct?
well, it was lower, but again, you didn't raise taxes, so
Right.
that allowed us to roll that over,
Right.
so our tax cap actually went up.
Okay.
What is
So
that
it
currently
actually
then,
went
Rick, our tax cap for this year, don't you know,
up.
roughly? Is it 1%? Or under
I
one?
don't know, I printed it out, I did a preliminary online, I printed it out, I don't
I
know.
feel like it's just an insurance policy.
I know.
I think
not
it was
very
somewhere around, well, I think it was
just
somewhere
you're not
around,
bound
you could raise
by-
taxes
Right.
by a little over $1 per thousand.
Exactly. That's-
Overall, it's something like $80,000.
Yeah.
If we raise the amount that we are allowed to raise, is going to be about $80,000 revenue.
Which
Overall.
amounts to about $1 per thousand. That would
Amount,
be your
yeah,
tax
about
cap.
that,
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't like using a percent because people don't know, I'd like putting it in dollars and cents rather than percentages because it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but.
So-
So,
So should we use that as a insurance to go?
Well, but, you know,
Or
it
just not?
it doesn't matter as long as we remember to reverse that and rescind it if we're not gonna go exceed the tax cap.
Right.
Because otherwise what happens is if that remained in place, the people would not get their rebate check.
That's true, yeah.
So,
Maybe
you know,
we
you
don't
don't
need to.
wanna jeopardize
You don't
people
think we need
getting
to
a
do it then?
rebate check.
No, I mean, I
Are you
really don't
comfortable
think
we
we should.
don't need to do it then?
I don't think we need,
Okay.
I mean, we're not very comfortable, but we're not desperate, let's say. So,
Then I'm fine
I
then.
feel comfortable.
We did it last year, we
Not
rescinded
to
it.
raise
Right.
taxes.
That's
And,
what-
and
that's
remember,
why I asked.
and remember, we're raising water rates.
Right.
So, I would not have, the stomach or whatever,
To do
that
both.
be,
Yeah.
to go and raise taxes on top of the water rates. I mean,
But I'm
where are
comfortable
people
with
going?
that. I'm
find the
comfortable
money.
not putting that in place there. Right. Are you?
It's fine not to do that.
All right, so let's go to the police department report. You have that. And then the justice report.
Mhm.
Okay, and then what's going to happen with the sign ordinance now we were talking about?
Yeah, the sign ordinance, everybody got a copy of that, right? So all it is just read through it. What we can do is have Chuck go through it next meeting and have him explain the changes that are in there, just make sure that the board is in agreement with those changes, or if they want something changed from what's been changed up to this point.
We did this, I don't know why, I thought we already voted on this, but I guess not.
No, well, now that the changes are made, there still might be some things that you guys don't agree with in the changes. So Chuck will review
I
those
found one.
changes, and then we can go ahead the following meeting and adopt it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
There's a minor typo at the very last page, but that's it. And I signed it, I didn't.
He's down to the typos.
Yeah, I went for it.
Down to typos, well, okay. All right, and I guess about the meeting discussion now, about the 20th. So to give everybody a little bit of background about what Doug and Phyllis and Mark are proposing. About a month ago, I was contacted by the Department of State, who was going to come and requested a meeting with me, the mayor of Dunkirk, and the Department of State, a gentleman by the name of Chris Grant. I apologize, so that meeting never happened because of conflicts, scheduling conflicts. I'm not sure if he met Mayor Rosas. However, the following week, he called me and he requested a meeting with me here in Frdonia. I accepted happily, actually, because I thought that was an excellent opportunity for me and for us to talk to a representative from the state, the Department of State, which was, usually I have to call and I have to find somebody on the call, so I was going to have somebody here, and that was a good idea. And actually, because that was going to be about what kind of possibilities maybe exist of helping, the state helping us and other municipalities in shared services, consolidations, things like that, so we can run the business of government more efficiently. I know that Doug is very interested in that, so I took the opportunity to invite him and Jim, if I'm not mistaken, right? Trustee Linden, to that meeting. I know that Doug contacted me straight away, and he said he wanted to have a bigger meeting with the city of Dunkirk and maybe a town of Pomfret and a representative from the state to discuss more things. Well, I felt that for a meeting like that, we need weeks of preparation. So I said, no, I don't think we're going to do that. Let's do this meeting and go further down as we go ahead. Now, 2 weeks ago, at the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, and after the wind had blown off part of the cover of the host tower, we were discussing these things, and then trustee asked if actually noticed that this is a very good opportunity for us, and actually probably something that we had to do, to go ahead and talk to the city of Dunkirk to maybe share buildings, not services, but buildings. So I asked him to look into it and give us a report back today. Now, last week I found out that Trustee Essek had reserved the Opera House for a meeting on the 20th. So I was a little bit mixed up because I'm confused. And actually I asked him because I said, I have at 4 o'clock this meeting. We have at 6 o'clock, at 6:30, the budget presentation. So what's going on? Well, what was going on was that Mr. Essek decided to call the municipalities, actually 4 municipalities, the city of Dunkirk, the town of Dunkirk, the
No,
the
I
town
did
of
not call the
Pomfret,
town of Dunkirk, Mayor.
town
You're
of Pomfret,
correct.
and the county, and Mr. Grant, and in effect, changed my meeting into the public meeting that he always wanted. Now, I have a problem with that, I have to tell you. You never asked me if I'm okay with that. That was my meeting. Not even for decorum, just civility. You went ahead, changed everything, changed the participants, changed the place, the forum, and then said, if you can come. It's like you invited me to your birthday party and you have an entertainer at your house, and I decide, well, how about if I call the whole village hall? And I call the entertainer, and I take it from your house, I put it in parks down here, and we have the party down here. That's how I felt. Plus, it's not only that, to be honest with you. It's the fact that by yourself, you cannot conduct any municipalities. You're a part of this board. You're supposed to have authorization by this board and a clear agenda when you go and contact the municipality. This board has to approve you. It's nothing to do with me. The board has to approve your move. Because they have to know, and actually 2 trustees have to go together, if I'm not mistaken.
That's usually.
Yes, 2 trustees have to go together after the authorization of the board. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is, this meeting is that we are called to host now with 4 municipalities, the county and the state has no agenda, has nothing. We're going to go there and talk about what? When I asked for that, let me explain exactly how I was thinking about it. I was thinking that you're going to go first and check our charter to see if we are allowed to share services or share buildings with something else, with another municipality. That's according to our charter. And then check if there are any problems with the city charter. And then go to our fire hall, talk to our firefighters, and see. I know very well that we have different unions and different contracts, which means I'm pretty confident the city firefighters get paid much more than we do. Not we, our firefighters do. This has to have some kind of influence or effect on them. I wanted to know, because our first responsibility is to the taxpayers. Our second responsibility is to the people who work for us. So the question is, do our taxpayers going to be served better if we go to the same building? Our firefighters, are they going to feel okay doing it? What are we going to do if they ask us to go and meet that union's salary benefits? Are we going to start fighting 1 or 2 so we can raise the rest? These are all questions. Also, if we go to a new building, let's say, what's going to happen to that building down there? That's an empty shell. That's a big problem too. So I was expecting all this in a kind of a small presentation to come to this board and talk with them and then make a decision And if the decision was that, yes, that's a good idea, that's a goal for us, then call the city of Dunkirk. They discuss it, and we all together, with this agenda, go to the state and say, this is what we have. How can you help us do that? I mean, that was my idea. So, in good conscience, I cannot approve nor come to that meeting. I had a private meeting. If he wants to keep the 4 o'clock with whatever you're going to do, I'm going to have a private meeting with him because I really want to talk to him face to face. I want to see what is out there. I don't want to start Googling. Google is here. I want to talk to him. So, and also, I don't want to have all these municipalities and somebody from the county, which I don't understand why they should be here, but anyways, we invited them. I don't understand how we're going to stand up there without something to say. It's going to make us, the board, myself, and the village look unprepared, unprofessional, and disorganized. So I really respect and I appreciate your passion. We are passionate, and I understand that because you knew you don't like the fact that everything is going very slowly. I share that with you. But we have to deal with legalities, we have to deal with governing, we have to be very careful, and we cannot rely on impulse and passion. And I say that with the best intentions. So this is what I have to say about this. I cannot be on that meeting. And I'm going to call Mr. Grant to see if I can, how we should proceed.
May I speak now, please?
Absolutely.
Last meeting, you charged me with looking into those subjects, as you said. Based on previous emails to myself and different studies here, I'm going off of your ideas of shared municipal ideas and thoughts here. On May 24th, 2016, your Dunkirk Frdonia shared police facility analysis, in which you stated, quote, "One last note, this should not be the end of our discussions with the city of Dunkirk as to ideas of shared services or even consolidations we could pursue. One such idea would be the wastewater treatment plant," unquote. Also from email on Saturday, February 11th, 2017, which you stated, quote, "Now another issue, I kept thinking about ways to cooperate with either the town of Dunkirk. On that end, I believe it would be a good idea if we approach the town to discuss shared facilities, even shared services if possible, for our 2 DPWs. And if we decided to go ahead, I'm quite sure there would be money available. So if you agree, I'd like to ask you and Jim, again, I know you are the liaisons to the town, to approach the town to see if there's any appetite for it. I will talk to some of our guys." So I suggested on an email on Thursday, February 23rd, 2017, to see if we could speed up the meeting and get together sooner with both Frdonia and Dunkirk boards and conference Mr. Grant on the phone so another month does not go by. Your thoughts were, quote, "Thank you for your thoughts. We'll need a few weeks prep time to put together a meeting like that with 2 full boards and specific topics we'd like to address." So at that last board meeting there, on Monday, February 27th, under new business, I brought up the idea under shared facilities with the city of Dunkirk and you and the town of Pomfret, and you invited me to research such ideas and report back to the board in a couple of weeks. What I have did is, what you have stated is incorrect. I have not invited the board. I tentatively asked all these municipalities, the city of Dunkirk and the town of Pomfret, which I went to their board meeting the other night, and they were open to discuss shared services. Mr. Grant, I also asked if he would be available that day and if he had any issues discussing these topics with all the parties that would be involved in this. And George Brello from the town, or the county of Chautauqua, who is in charge of the municipal shared services and the grants program that they offer. At no time are any of these people, I said this is a tentative, I just want to see if you're available on that day, if you're tentatively able to attend. And that was the same thing that was done with the Opera House, to see if that was available. Now, I would think that given all these ideas here, that the best opportunity to discuss things would be to have all the people and all the municipalities and everybody on board that would be there to discuss these things. I'm totally in favor of transparency. I think the public should know when we discuss shared services, and there was actually a web poll that the Observer did that 98% of people thought we should do. Do you think that Frdonia should look to combine some of its public facilities? 92% thought we did. So the public is in favor of this. I really just, I would ask you, I'm not sure why, and I understand you had scheduled a meeting previously, and because Mr. Grant is a very busy person, he's not in town very often, so this was the perfect opportunity to utilize his services and to have everybody on board at the same time. So I don't understand.
Yes, what you say that are ideas, are generalities. I want to go there.
No,
with-
specific, like shared police facilities,
No,
or
that's
maybe
not.
not?
That's not an idea. That's general. Specific is when I go there and I say, this is how many we have, this is how many they have, this is how much they get paid, this is how much they get paid, this is how much they serve, this is how much they serve, this is how much are our month-to-month expenses, this is how much they are month-to-month expenses. And then you put a feasibility thing together, not just to say it's a good idea. It's not, we're all going to say it's a good idea. First of all, the police department, I have to tell you, this board has voted 5-0 to not visit it again. We're finished with that. We're not going to revisit. I understand you're a new trustee, that's fine, but we can't, for every new trustee, revisit all decisions.
Well, it'd be contrary to your.
No, I said police, the police, I was the one who looked into it very, very carefully. And at the Observer, I told them unequivocally, and at the WDOE, unequivocally, that this is the end. It's a 12-year, if I'm not mistaken, going back and forth, back and forth. Well, finally, I put everything together. Now, to be honest with you, for the police department, even if they give us a building, we cannot do it. Look at the numbers. Numbers don't add up.
I understand that, but a meeting such as this sort could bring out opportunities to explore even a public safety building. You know, downtown, you'd like to keep the police department downtown. This would be a perfect opportunity to have everybody on board, not only the administrations of the municipalities, but have department heads of the police and fire and Department of Public Works who know what we need there at these meetings. I just, and I don't know what
I'm
charter
totally
laws or
against
village laws
is
are
that because
broken.
I want to go to a meeting perfectly prepared. I want to have my, do my research, talk to the people, have my papers with me. So when I go, and for example, I really am in favor of wastewater treatment plant consolidation. Really am in favor of that. However, I cannot present it at this moment. Why? Because I have nothing to present except I think it's a good idea. And that's a very short discussion. Because pretty much everybody's going to say, oh, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Well, from that point, to actually go to the state and say, this is what I have. This is how much money maybe we're able to save, let's say. And that's why I'm asking the state what we can do for us. That's where at that meeting I'm going to go. But again, and the fact that you actually call the municipalities without authorization from this board.
I'd like to see that paperwork or where that states that. I really would like to see that in writing of where it states that I'm unable to do that for tonight or whenever, as soon as you could do that, because I don't know where that is stated and that law is. I would really like to see that, to see what I have done wrong.
I'll try to find it. I'm sure I read it someplace.
Right.
Do you have it?
No, I don't think.
Okay, nobody.
I think it's just,
Okay, well, unless I can see the actual law that, or whatever rule that I broke.
well, I think that she's just saying, Doug, that she scheduled a meeting, invited you and invited somebody else, Jim. And then you took the guy that was gonna come to her meeting and scheduled a meeting and took him
No,
away from her meeting.
I asked Mr. Grant if
You
he'd be
didn't ask me,
willing.
that was my meeting.
Yeah.
Mr. Grant is somebody else.
I don't know, it's just really.
You should
a lot
have
of courtesy
asked
there.
me.
A lot of things are done out of,
Anyways, please do.
I recall very well the mayor asked for a report of what because you did have thoughts of and ideas of shared possibly something with the fire department, and I was actually anticipating a report back of something with maybe some numbers of some idea of something that this board can consider. But in fact, Doug, you arbitrarily voided the mayor's meeting. You arbitrarily went to and scheduled dates.
I tentatively scheduled dates.
That's the same
No, it
thing.
isn't.
You-
To see if people were available.
When
It's
you
different.
come to the board with a report and for consideration to the board, then the board would decide that as if that was an idea. You bring that idea to the board, and the board would then make a decision if that was a good idea. And of course, without an agenda, there is no discussion of what you would be in consideration of, solutions of common issues. What you would
Jim, the common issues are police departments, DPWs, and fire.
The mayor just went over that. Well then, to go to other communities and request this type of meeting prior to even talking to for consideration of the board, like I said, this was all done on your own accord.
This was because, you know why, Jim?
So-
I want to make things happen here, and I would really like to see the
We all-
law.
But you
or
can't
the
do it,
rule.
you can't do it on your own. One trustee is not
I
allowed to
need
do
to see
that.
that rule or law, please.
No, you can't do anything by yourself. You're one vote out of 5, that's what he means.
I'm not taking any, I was tempted,
that's
and that's why,
why-
Mayor, I was gonna bring to the board tonight to request a special meeting, but I can't request a special meeting if I don't know the attendees are gonna be able to attend on a certain day that we need to do this, so.
Doug, you should have come to me, because you sent me an email right after I invited you, and you said this should be a big meeting, and I turned that idea down. You went ahead and you rescheduled my meeting to fit your
What, Mr. Grant
agenda.
can still meet with you, and if the
Mr. Grant was supposed to meet with me at the time of your meeting now. And he will meet with me because I'm going to email him tomorrow. And please email all these people that you have. I mean, if you don't want, I will do it. That I won't be there. Because
fine.
I don't recognize this as a productive meeting for the community. If we have all the things, if you have taken the time, 2 weeks now, to bring all of these things together for the fire department, we would have something to start. Going there, looking at each other and saying, okay, what do you want to do? We want to consolidate fire departments. Okay. All right. Yes, 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 yes. Then what? Mr. Grant is not going to have a checkbook with him. Mr. Grant doesn't know our charter. Mr. Grant doesn't know, not even the village law, I can assure you. So Mr. Grant is the last thing. You collect everything else, and then you go there and you say, this is what we need, how you can help us. That's how I see it. So from that point on, this is a public forum. You have every right to call for a public forum. It's not a special meeting, because there is no agenda. What kind of meeting is that? There's no agenda to that.
That's your opinion.
Can you give me the agenda?
I don't have that right now, I do
Okay,
not.
well,
You did state that you secured the Opera House and.
I tentatively secured the Opera House, Jim.
And-
You're correct.
Okay,
And,
well, we're not going anywhere with that.
From everything, in order to set those meetings tentatively, that's what you're doing is conducting business. As part of our local government handbook.
I'd like to see that as well. local
It
government
states
handbook,
no
Jim.
business may be transacted unless a quorum is present.
Is that from our charter?
No, actually, this is from your local government handbook. This is,
I don't know what that is, Jim.
it's
That's
part of
what
the general laws of New York State.
Anyways, I mean, I thought I should.
Mayor, I
have my,
apologize. The other municipalities were in favor of a meeting to discuss ideas. It was like a brainstorming thought here. You know,
Brainstorming starts here. This is your base. This is where you belong. You belong to this board. This is the brainstorming, and then we go as a unit to other municipalities. That's how I feel we do things in a professional, organized, and a responsible way. We want the other municipalities and the state to take us seriously. That's how I feel. From that point on, I don't have anything else to say. I thought I should make my, my thoughts clear, and that's all I have to say.
okay, may I ask, I understand you're not going to attend that meeting. Are you stating that I'm calling an illegal meeting because I've contacted municipalities illegally? Is that what you are basically saying here? I don't know. You said I
know that,
illegally contacted
I know
municipalities?
from the previous board that when one trustee went someplace and did, and discussed a specific thing, everybody was calling that an illegal transaction. So I will look into it. I know I read someplace that at least 2 trustees have to be together, and they have to be authorized by the board to conduct somebody else. This is to protect the trustees, actually, because since nobody was with you, we don't know what happened. And I'm not suggesting anything, any trustee. So this, when 2 go together, one actually, they're together. We have 2 people there. I'm not suggesting anything illegality. I'm just suggesting that this is, first of all, for me, you took my meeting. After I said that I don't want to do that.
What would be
then-
the reason you wouldn't want to? I mean, you could have scheduled a meeting with different municipalities and different people. If we're talking about wastewater
I didn't
treatment
want
plant.
to.
I don't understand. Why wouldn't you want to have
Because
that
we
other
are talking
municipality
with the
there?
mayor of Dunkirk first. This is a preliminary discussion.
That's what I would say. You'd have the mayor of Dunkirk, Mayor, at this meeting as well, if it's involving the wastewater treatment plant.
And still, I really don't, I cannot host a meeting where I don't have an agenda. Or I cannot go to a meeting, my meeting, in this building, and say, okay, let's brainstorm how we're gonna sell services. That's gonna be a very short meeting or a very boring one. Because everybody's gonna say, yes, of course, I want to. I'm not stupid, I'm not behind the people. If we can do something efficiently, obviously I wanna do it.
You know, I liken this meeting to the meeting of the Central Connection. That was a brainstorming meeting. You
But
got
that was
ideas
not-
out of that.
Yes, but that was a different meeting. That was a forum. It was not a meeting. It was a public forum. It was not a meeting of any kind of a municipal or any kind of governing body. There were 3 people that put this meeting together. The mayor of Dunkirk, President Horvath, and myself. These are the 3 people who actually put this meeting together. We didn't have to vote for anything. We didn't propose any resolution. We didn't do absolutely nothing. It was brainstorming. That was the point of the meeting. Here, brainstorming, it's very short because we don't know legalities, first of all. Did you know, for example, that you, in order for us to somehow services with the city of Dunkirk in police department, we will have to dissolve our police department. To dissolve our police department, we have to go to referendum. Did you know that?
I think I knew something about that, yes.
Okay, well, if you don't know all these legalities, and I don't know all these legalities, I know this because I looked into it. I didn't know that before, to be honest. How can we go there and start discussing these things? We're wasting our time. That's my feeling. As I said, you have every right to call a public forum. That's a different thing.
Well, Mayor,
I
I
thought it
will,
was an excellent opportunity for us. That's why I invited you, to have the representative from the Department of State, which, for me to find, first of all, I don't know who I'm calling. I called the 3 different people. Here, we're gonna have him here. We can put some questions together for him from this board. Because this is where we're starting. We are first responsible to the people of this village. That's how I see it.
That's how we all should see
Okay,
it.
so
Absolutely, that's who we're
I'm
working here for.
brainstorming from this board. That is my feeling, and I don't in any way question your motives. It's just I cannot follow your methods.
We can agree to disagree. Also, your legal things you're saying, without an attorney here, it's really hard to.
I totally agree.
To listen to somebody say that legally you couldn't do this or that, and nobody here is an attorney, so I really do not appreciate, unless you can show me some laws or something in black and white.
I can retract that at any moment. I'm sure I read it someplace, I don't have it with me, so I can retract that. That doesn't change the fact, again, that you went and changed my meeting.
I didn't change your
that-
meeting, the meeting's still there. I asked Mr. Grant
Okay,
and the
well, let's
municipalities.
not go over it again. I think
You're
everybody
correct.
understands what I'm saying. I had a meeting with 3 people. You presented a meeting with 4 municipalities, the county, and the state. That's pretty different meeting, one from the other. Anyways, it's, as I said, these are my thing. Trustee Christina, can you have anything to?
I think it's all been said, but I think an ultimate goal of meeting with all the municipalities and talking about ideas is a great idea. I don't think anybody disagrees with that, but I think we're not ready for it yet. I think that's down the road. I think that's after we do some other things first and come up with some plans and some ideas, like you said, among ourselves and with this particular representative from the state. So I think like, it's not a bad idea. I just don't, I think it's premature. I think it's something that we can look forward to doing, like I said, after we have a plan and some more discussion.
Yes, and again, you do it like, what I would like very much to share services, to share with the wastewater treatment plant. I think it would be an excellent idea and a money saver. But I don't need the town of Pomfret there, because we complicate things. I would like to see discussion with the town of Pomfret, because I asked you to do that with Trustee Linden, about the DPW. Maybe we can share buildings with them. We don't need the city of Dunkirk there to complicate things. This is between municipalities. This is what we do. I would love this idea. And, the fire department, if he can bring some, if anyone can bring some things that help us to go forward, why not? I'm not against anything. I'm just against not being prepared, doing something, brainstorming. We're a governing body. We're brainstorming here, not out there. That's my thing. And now we're done.
Pass this resolution then? I don't know.
Well, it was more like, I don't know if it has to be a resolution, because it was just a request for a special meeting, and I don't know if you have to have it. I didn't know how to present it, because we
Well,
don't
we
have an
have-
attorney here to.
Yeah, we have to pass a resolution, because then if we're going to have this meeting, it's an official meeting. If the board's gonna be there, more than 2 board members
It has to
are
be
gonna
an
there.
open to public meetings
It has
law.
to be open, so I have to advertise that meeting. It has to be advertised, and it has to be posted, and it has to,
How do we know that more than 2 are going to be there?
I'm sorry, we don't. I think that's what,
My intention
my
was.
opinion is, I think we should put this, whether you wanna,
Can you
I will
Yeah, we can
rescind this
table this
resolution based on the fact that we have no legal counsel here to advise me properly, instead of somebody reading out of a book or on
So
paper here.
can I
and
ask you how you have 3 people here asking for the meeting?
I spoke to Trustee Ruckman, and I spoke to Trustee Jones, and I believe Trustee Jones might have called you. Did Trustee Jones call you
No.
on this? She was supposed to call you. So you're, okay.
Okay.
We can table it or vote?
You know
yeah,
what?
you-
I'll rescind the resolution right now, because obviously
Can you
this
rescind it?
board
You
and
can
the
rescind it.
mayor is not,
24th, you either have to table it or vote on it.
Yeah, okay, why don't you just?
We can vote, I mean, no, I think you can table it. I mean, what's the reason?
They have to say whether they want to table it or not, official for the minutes of the meeting.
Because,
I make a motion to table this resolution.
Anybody second it?
how do you feel about that? I'm concerned with it coming back right away. and
Right.
When we're not prepared.
Right.
I'd rather vote on it, and, because I kind
Can we vote on it and then,
Okay.
and then it'll
if
be
it,
done with.
if it
Well,
is
then it's
not
gonna go to
passed, be
maybe-
brought up again at a later date?
Sure, sure.
So maybe that's the way we should do
In
it.
effect, if you table this, you're killing it because March 20th is next Monday.
Month,
Okay.
so it's
Basically,
actually,
you're killing the resolution.
Okay.
Well, then it's
Well,
gonna
would
go
you
to the
rather table
meeting.
it then,
I
or-
don't know.
No, if they table this, then there won't be a meeting.
because it's going
So
to
are
be
you
tabled to the
tabling?
next regular
Right.
board meeting, and it's past the date that I
Right, it's
scheduled
already
this
past the
special
date,
meeting.
so it would, in
Whatever-
effect,
whatever
kill
the
it.
board-
Whichever way
the
you want to
pleasure of
do
the
it, if
board,
you wanted to
it's-
address the resolution and, vote it down, or whether you want to table it, because you want to do something at a later date, that's, like Kara said, I don't think anybody is against doing that.
No.
It's just, the timing
Mm-hmm.
is not correct.
It's
Or
gonna
the
be a new
format,
resolution
maybe.
because the date is
Sure,
gonna be totally
exactly, it'll
different.
be a different resolution, so if you table it, at least that keeps it open for another date, you can put another date in there. And
It's
then,
up to
and then
you.
you can invite all of the different municipalities.
I would, actually, we probably should vote on it because, quite frankly, I don't think that we should really have all those municipalities all at once. I think it's gonna be a spectacle of, to have so many, municipalities, discussing the same,
Yeah, I think having a meeting with other people is one thing, but this is not really what we want to do.
and to have, one with the town and then one with another community, your bordering communities individually in an open forum is different than having all of them together. That's something the county does. This is, on their end, in some fashions. This is not for us. I think that this, to bring the, just tabling it, allowing it to come back as is, I think we should vote on it.
And for my table motion, so it's dropped.
Yeah. We don't have anybody ready. So we're gonna address we're gonna put it in the agenda, okay.
Anybody from the public wants to address the workshop?
Old business.
Fred Fest discussion?
Fred,
We have the Fred Fest,
Or
okay?
not Fred
Discussion.
Fest?
the non-Fred Fest, yes.
Well, everybody knows what that
Or
is.
the Fred Mess?
Well, the only thing that we wanted to, that I wanted to discuss is during our non-Fred Fest committee meetings, we had we came to some decisions. And some of the decisions are very practical, and I think we should start addressing them, like we need more garbage cans. So the kids or the people who are working out there and whatever they're doing, they can use them instead of our streets or our sidewalks. We need some porta potties, so for the same reason, actually. And
We have fancy ones now. You bring in a truck. Have
Really?
you seen them?
no,
It's like a truck. It's like a big truck, and you go in, and it has nice little stations, and it's got running water. They're very
I
nice,
imagine they're much more expensive.
probably. But
I would like
But
to-
I mean,
I
that-
just
that
think we
was-
need more.
I think that was my thing, because, I mean, Jim sometimes, he sent me a message, Fred Fest is coming up. I said, oh my God, yes, it's coming up,
is,
so.
yeah.
You have to discuss
Like in a
that.
month.
And also, yes.
like a
yes.
month from now.
And also have to, put it on our webpage, put it on the Facebook, put it on the police Facebook, this, some kind of guidelines as we drew them last time. I just wanted to start discussing this because as I said, it's coming up. And anything about,
As far as, the cost of the porta potties and how do you?
well, that's why we have to.
This is gonna have to be
Well, and would the university be willing to share the cost with us?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Who is going to share the cost?
The university, would they be willing to share the cost?
The university, I have to tell you that, because they
FSA or something?
dissociated themselves from the event, we can ask them, but they have dissociated it.
Right, but then they've just pushed the responsibility. The mess hasn't cleaned, it's just been pushed onto the responsibility of the village, and I think that's unfair. By disassociating themselves from it, it's just moved. It hasn't disappeared. Maybe it's not as much as it used to be, but I think it's unfair to completely put the burden onto the village.
I agree, actually, but this is the problem. If we don't do it, then our streets and our sidewalks.
I think we should do it, but I think it's an unfair burden. And I'm just putting that out there. It really is.
Okay. I agree. I can't disagree with that.
Do they have special locations that you were looking at to put porta potties? Obviously you want to sprinkle them through the.
Oh, Brad is part of that.
Good phrase. Good choice of words there, Mr. St. George.
Right.
We wanted them to be obviously on municipal property, so we were looking at, so we are trying to balance what the college's philosophical position of, they don't want to recognize Fred Fest. So we're trying to balance that, and if we put the Porta Johns in the municipal lot over here by the post office, they would be on our property, but they'd be in close proximity to areas where people are consuming large quantities of liquids. If we put them in the municipal lot over by Lena's Pizza, they would be on our property, but in close proximity. So those are like two locations that, I thought of that would work for us, where we would have supervision of the Porta Johns, because one of our concerns is, and one of the things that we wanted to research was, do they make this something that can be secured to the ground so that they're not pushed over?
Gotta get the truck.
Well, the costs, the costs go up significantly, but perhaps there's some sort of strapping mechanism that we're not aware of to anchor these to the ground. And then those are the locations that we would also include some garbage cans. We're in no way trying to point out that we approve the parties that are taking place on White Street and Canada Way. We're not trying to encourage it or enhance it or build upon it. We're just simply addressing a need. And if we keep it on our property, I think we can strike that balance. So those are the locations that I thought of.
Well, I will go with that because Brad knows where we need them, so.
You have to start somewhere, and I think that's a good start. See how it goes this year with those locations.
Last year
and
was,
then we could
pretty bad.
add-
I think you could put two in front of Village Hall.
Right.
I think that,
For the
I was
truck
gonna say,
back.
someplace.
Over here in the parking lot, or
This
over.
parking lot
Sure,
here,
yeah, for the
or,
truck back, yeah.
By the police department someplace,
Absolutely.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that's, so, can we look into that
Look
to
into the
see
cost of
how?
that, Rick?
Hmm?
Would that be possible if you look into the cost of that? or-
Sure,
and
sure.
See if we could have that available soon, and then.
Guess I would start off by asking who the farm, who does the Farm Festival use,
Yeah.
Because they bring in the banquet. Whoever they use, and then we can just call that guy and just say, hey, look, I'm assuming it's a guy.
There's another one too.
But, and then the trash receptacles, the village,
Those are usually the things that we put out there for,
those
Red Wing.
would be our-
The Farm Festival.
we could place those around too, and the village would do that then.
Yeah.
So we could ask them to do that.
Okay.
We have concerns about them getting thrown around too,
But,
nothing measured, nothing.
Okay, so we done with that. I'd like to welcome Mr. Paskey, our high school principal, who joined us. Thank you very much for coming here today. We're very excited about the Youth Council, and Carol there has a ton of ideas, all come from kids, because as you said before, NICOM put a kind of a competition, if I were a mayor, for 8th graders, and Carol gave it to her students, and they came up with wonderful ideas, so she's going to collect all of those and see what we can do. So, again, thank you very much.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everybody's absent, present except trustee Mark Rockman and Phyllis Jones. A regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Frdonia, duly called and held on the 13th day of March 2017 at 7:30 p.m. in the Trustees Room, 2nd floor, Village Hall, Frdonia, New York, and public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law.
Whereas members of this board present at this meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees' regular meeting of February 27, 2017. Now therefore be it resolved, this board approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
A second?
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Now the
We have two reports tonight. The police report for the month of February 2017. A total of 771 incidents, 13 accidents, 79 arrests, 44 vehicle and traffic, and parking tickets 69. Justice report for the month of February 2017. Total parking tickets, fines, and surcharges of $16,058 was collected. Total cases of 146, of which 82 were V&T, 38 criminal, Village Ordinance 18, civil cases 4, and ABC laws 4. And that's it for the reports.
Okay, and we open the public portion. Does anybody from the public has anything to say or ask? No, so we go to resolutions.
Be it resolved that the training request of Alex Kurgan, firefighter, to attend the Fire Service Instructor Training Course 2 in Montour Falls, New York, May 21st to the 26th, 2017, is hereby approved at a cost not to exceed $200 plus fuel in the village vehicle. This course is sponsored by New York State Office of Fire Prevention and Control.
Second.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Whereas Village of Fredonia Board of Trustees is requesting proposals from qualified individuals or firms to provide professional administration and management services in connection with the Village of Fredonia, New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Grant Administration. Now therefore be it resolved that the village administrator is hereby authorized to seek requests for proposals in connection with the Village of Fredonia's New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Grant Administration. Said proposals to be returnable to the village administrator's office no later than March 24th, 2017 at 11 a.m. and to report the results to the Board of Trustees as soon as possible after receiving such proposals. The Board of Trustees reserves the right to reject any proposal and to accept the proposal deemed most advantageous to the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Essek?
No. And I will explain my no vote. I think we're putting the cart before the horse here. We haven't even approved the contract for
We
the...
cannot approve the contract without having an administrator to go and submit the correct papers. So we have the proposal for the administrator, and there is a whole list of papers that I cannot, none of us actually can put together. We don't have the
I'll
time
second
or
it.
the expertise, and this is a lot of money. So we have to have an administrator to do that. So we need to hire an administrator in order to give this in order to get our contracts back, along with the new budget.
So this is stipulation of getting our incentive proposal, we have to have hired an administrator of the grant?
No, there's not, but I called the lady, her name is, you remember the name? I forgot her name,
Yeah.
but I do have it. And I asked, there's a whole list of papers that we're supposed to submit. And she said, if you don't have an administrator, this is going to be very difficult. She was very much willing, if two of you actually, were willing to go to Buffalo and get a training course to do that. But I didn't think any of us can do that. So this is where we are.
I can second
Right, but it still won't pass because you still only have 2 out of 5 voting yes.
it. Right.
Yes, it is unanimous.
I just
Right.
want you to understand that if we wait for a long time, we're going to lose this money. I just wanted to be out there that the date to submit all the papers was March 1st. I called and she said, okay, don't worry about the date. We put it there because we need people to start working. Since then, we are now the 13th. So by the time we'll do all this, there's another 2 weeks. We're never going to submit the papers before April.
I was just under the impression that all we had to submit to get the incentive proposal was a budget affirmation.
Well, yeah, but that has to be, that's what they want. They want, the affirmation is, are those numbers are still correct? So somebody needs to, like.
True those up.
Yeah, exactly. Take a look at those numbers and say, yes, this is what we're planning on doing, and these are the numbers associated with those projects.
Should they not be fairly close then at this point? I mean, I don't understand why.
They're very
we're-
close, the numbers that we have, but
Probably closer than where we were when we submitted. To answer that question, yes, they should be.
But who's going to take the responsibility to do all these things, the administration of the grant?
I still don't understand. I mean, if the affirmation that we're close and it's not a.
The administration of the grant has nothing to do with that. The administration of the grant has to do with spending the money and then submitting the papers. And first of all, we're not even registered to get the grant. So we need somebody to go through the whole, through a whole series of papers and discussions to do that. And then when we start spending the money, somebody has to keep up and send to the state all the papers so we can get reimbursement.
Okay, but I guess you said that this person's gonna be paid out of the grant. We haven't even approved the grant yet.
They understand that.
So if we don't approve the grant and this person's hired, how's he gonna get paid?
He's not going to get paid because we don't have the grant anymore. If we are
If-
one
if
of
he-
the,
If he performs work, he's gonna have to be paid. And I guess I'm not understanding how he can be
Well,
paid from a
and-
grant that we haven't approved yet.
because people usually, if I ask them this question, they're going to say that we're going to be the first ones who are going to not approve a grant. They don't have an answer to that.
Actually, it's the second grant we didn't approve.
No,
It was a
this is
1.3
not the
million.
same. This is different, come from a totally different authority. I explained that to you before.
I understand it, but still, we refused a grant before.
No,
It's
you
not
want the
first time.
grant, Doug, I'm going to be very open. Do you want the grant for the infrastructure? It's connected to that. Do you want the grant for the central connections? It's connected to that. So this is very open. I'm being very open here. Because if we don't get the money, and if we don't, I don't know how we're going to find money for the infrastructure. That's millions of dollars. Okay? If we don't start down that road to get some money from the state, I have no idea how you're going to propose to find this money to fix the wastewater treatment plant. We were in a conference call with Rick. He can explain how much money is there. Same thing, Carroll Avenue, the people there have yellow water. We have to fix that. We're not going to be able to do it on our own. I really want everybody in front of their responsibilities. This is a big responsibility.
I understand that. My point is, I think we have priorities, and those probably should be a bigger priority than this at the moment. If people are having discolored water, and we have infrastructure
So
issues.
how are you going to pay for that? We are in the radar because we did that. That's how we are in the radar. Because we started from some point. Because they believe this to be part of economic development. Maybe you don't. That's fine, I understand that. However, the state believes this to be part of economic development. They gave us the money, part of economic development, through the Regional Economic Development Council in Buffalo. That's how we got this money.
If we don't take it, they're gonna think that we don't need other grant money.
We're not going to go
Right,
to
they're gonna
grant
say,
money.
well, we're not going to give you grant money because you turned this grant money down, right? That's the.
That's the skeptical.
Yeah.
And I mean,
So-
it's nothing I can do after I don't vote. That's your responsibility. If you take that responsibility up, that's nothing I can do about it, actually. Well, then we take it to the next meeting, because obviously he's voting no.
Yeah, because it didn't pass. It's the full voting authority of the board, and you only had 2 voting affirmative, so it didn't pass.
Okay. Go to the next one. No, we table this, the next one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we're tabling the next one.
Okay, whereas the mayor and village board of trustees recognize that the youth of the community are a valuable asset and will be the future leaders of Frdonia, and whereas a youth council will benefit the village and its residents by engaging young people, organizing meaningful community events, orchestrating community projects, and overall advising the mayor and board of trustees on issues related to youth, and whereas the youth council will prepare the youth of Frdonia for the future by teaching responsibility, leadership, hard work, communication, and the value of public service, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Frdonia Youth Council is being established by the Board of Trustees with the following guidelines. The name of the council shall be the Village of Frdonia Youth Council. The purpose and goals of this council shall be to advise and assist in the creation and implementation of community-specific policies focused on youth issues, organize events that will have a positive effect on the community, provide a safe, engaging, and educational framework for youth in order to better themselves in their community, engage young people ages 18 to 24 who are out of high school but not in college, recognizing that they are a valuable part of this community. Members, the principal of Frdonia High School as well as the SUNY Vice President of Student Affairs shall work alongside the mayor and 1 member of the Board of Trustees to select 1 representative from each high school grade level and 3 representatives from Frdonia State University to serve on the council. All members should be selected by October 10th for a 1-year term. The selection of the representatives shall be based on their leadership qualities, GPA, and civic participation. All members shall receive an official certificate at the end of their term. Officers are a chairperson, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, public meeting representative. Funding, and be it further resolved that any funds required for the operation of the Frdonia Youth Council should be obtained through fundraising and donations.
Second,
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Esser.
yes. Be it resolved that a special meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia be held on Monday, March 20th, 2017, immediately following the workshop session to present the mayor's tentative village budget and to call for a public hearing on said budget to be held on April 10th, 2017, and to consider any other business that may come before this board.
I second.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Esser.
Yes.
And we done? Can I have it,
ask it up?
We have
Oh,
to
yes,
table
we have to
this,
have it.
right?
I'm sorry,
Do we have to-
we don't table
Because
it.
we don't have enough people.
That's it, we will, because we don't have, is that
I
correct?
think you were gonna vote on it.
Well,
Are we
You
gonna?
go vote on
Okay.
my special meeting.
Yeah.
who's gonna
Well,
read
that's
it
the
and
thing, we
who's
have no
gonna,
one-
You have to read it and then they'll vote on it.
who's no one, there's no one to
Who's gonna
second it.
So,
Yeah.
so you have to table it then, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to table.
I guess
because
we're
There's just
gonna-
not
I'm
enough
sorry,
people
it's just-
here.
I
to carry on a
didn't,
logical
we didn't
meeting.
realize that
Yeah,
until we
exactly.
read
Yeah,
that
me
either.
neither. Yeah.
So there was no one
Okay.
to
So we'll
second
just
it.
table
We
it.
have to table it.
So everybody's okay with tabling it, all right?
Well,
we have a
We don't
choice.
have a choice. There's no one to second it.
Yep. Okay. All right, can I have the gentleman, no, have
We have
the,
an executive session?
Executive, yeah.
Yeah, all that.
I hereby make a motion to enter into executive session as authorized by section 105(1)(f) of the Public Officers Law to discuss possible litigation, to discuss specific Village Hall personnel.
Second.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Lennon?
Aye.
Trustee Esek?
Yes.
Okay, we have to go to executive session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.